All right, welcome back everyone to another Complete Aviation Solutions Deep Dive. This is number 40.
Wow, 40 already.
I know, it's hard to believe. You guys sent in some super interesting articles about what Air Canada, Cathay Pacific, and Korean Air are doing, so that's what we're going to be focusing on today, specifically some of their premium cabins and their fleets. Really fascinating stuff. We want to try to understand what these developments could mean for you as a traveler.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot going on with those airlines, lots to unpack. And it's always great to see these industry leaders, pushing the envelope and trying new things. I think we should probably start with Air Canada. They've got some pretty interesting plans for their A321 XLRs.
Yeah, absolutely. So these A321 XLRs, they're supposed to be joining Air Canada's fleet towards the end of 2025. And for everyone listening, what makes these planes kind of special is that they're single-aisle jets, which you'd normally see on shorter flights, but they have this extra long-range capability. Air Canada is planning to really upgrade their business class on these planes.
Right, and the key here is the layout they're going with. Just 14 private business class suites in a 1-1 configuration. That's huge for a narrow-body aircraft. It means every single business class passenger is going to have direct aisle access, and their seats will convert into fully lie-flat beds. It's almost unheard of on this type of plane.
It does feel like a big shift, and
Yeah.
it seems like Air Canada isn't alone in this. We're seeing this trend with other airlines that are bringing in the A321 XLR as well.
Oh, absolutely. One of the reports we looked at mentioned Iberia is already using theirs on the Madrid to Boston route with 14 lie-flat business class seats, also in that 1-1 configuration. And get this, that's a flight that's almost 9 hours long.
9 hours on a single-aisle jet in a lie-flat seat. That would have been unimaginable a few years ago. And American Airlines has announced they're going to have 20 flagship suites, their top business class, on their A321 XLRs.
Yeah, it seems like they're planning to use those for premium transcontinental flights here in North America, but also to fly to smaller or, what they call secondary European destinations, places that maybe don't have enough demand for a wide-body jet.
It's a really smart strategy, I think, using these more fuel-efficient planes to offer a premium experience to places that might not have had it before.
Exactly, and I think that's where the A321 XLR really shines. It opens up a whole lot of possibilities. And what's interesting is Air Canada's executive vice president, Mark Nasser, hinted that these A321 XLR business class suites might even get their own unique brand name, different from their signature class.
New name. Oh, that's interesting. Sounds like they're trying to create a distinct product here, something that stands out. Maybe play up that boutique feel a bit more.
Yeah, definitely. Smaller plane, more intimate cabin, maybe a more personalized service. It could be a very appealing option for some travelers. For those of you who want a sneak peek, there are reports that Air Canada might be showcasing these suites at the Aircraft Interiors Expo in Hamburg in April.
Oh, I bet a lot of aviation geeks will be lining up for that one. So Air Canada has 30 of these A321 XLRs on order, which gives them a lot of flexibility to connect destinations across the Atlantic, but also within North and Central America.
Exactly. They could really shake things up with those. They've brought in Acumen, a London-based design studio, to design the cabins for these A321 XLRs. They have a really impressive portfolio, having worked with airlines like JetBlue and Etihad on their premium cabins.
Yeah, they're no strangers to designing luxurious spaces for planes. And it sounds like Air Canada is thinking bigger than just these A321 XLRs. They want to create a new design standard that will extend to all their future cabins and even customer-facing areas like lounges and check-in areas.
Right, they're calling it a new era of warmth. One report even mentioned that they were inspired by the line, "With glowing hearts we see thee rise," from the Canadian national anthem. They're aiming for a sophisticated, professional, but also genuinely warm and welcoming feel. It'll be interesting to see how that translates into the design.
It definitely sounds like a departure from the more sterile corporate feel you often get in airports and planes. One thing that surprised me, though, is that the A321 XLRs won't have a premium economy cabin. It's just business class, regular economy, and then their extra legroom economy. That's a bold choice for a long-haul aircraft, especially on transatlantic routes.
I know, right? But Air Canada seems to be betting that the demand for premium economy on these thinner, longer routes just isn't there yet, at least not in North America. They see the market is still developing, and they probably figure, they can offer a great business class product and capture a large part of that market segment.
It's a gamble, but it could pay off. Okay, let's move on to Cathay Pacific. They've got some exciting news as well, even if it comes with a bit of a delay. Their new Area Suites business class is now flying between Hong Kong and Sydney on their upgraded Boeing 777s.
Yes, I've seen photos of these area suites and they look very impressive. Sliding privacy doors, a 24-inch widescreen TV with Bluetooth audio streaming. They've really gone all out on the premium materials and the lighting, too.
It's always a good sign when an airline pays attention to the details. So for anyone who's thinking of booking that Hong Kong to Sydney route, initially, the area suites were flying 5 days a week on flights CX-101 and CX-100. But just a heads up, that's changing to CX-161 and CX-162 around March 30th.
Right, so definitely double check the flight numbers before you book. And it's not just the business class that's gotten an upgrade on those 777s. They've also installed 48 new premium economy recliners, and they've even given premium economy its own dedicated washrooms.
So a better experience for those who are traveling in premium economy as well. It's nice to see an airline investing in that cabin class. Do you know who designed the area suites? I mean, it sounds like they've really customized it.
Yeah, so the suite itself is based on the Collins Aerospace Elevate and Elements platform, but Cathay Pacific has worked closely with JPA Design, a London-based studio, to really make it their own.
It sounds like they've managed to strike a balance between using an existing platform and still creating something unique to Cathay Pacific.
Exactly. They've kept some of the popular features from their previous business class, like the angled layout of the seats, which gives passengers a good amount of privacy, and the practical benchtop surface. And of course, the mirrored storage cabinet. Always a nice touch.
I love those mirrored cabinets.
Yeah.
But they've also incorporated some new design elements.
Yeah, the area suites have softer, more rounded edges, which creates a more modern, almost organic feel. One of the reports described the overall aesthetic as quiet luxury with neutral and warm colors and subtle LED lighting. It's meant to feel both sophisticated and calming.
And privacy seems to be a key focus with these suites.
Absolutely. The wraparound walls are over 4 feet high, and when you close the sliding door, you're really in your own little world. The seat itself is 20 inches wide, covered in woven wool fabric. It reclines into a fully flat bed that's over 6 feet long. Now, one thing to note is that the footwell might be a bit tight for taller people.
Always a good thing to be aware of. Thanks for mentioning that. What about storage space in the entertainment system? Always important on a long flight.
There's a side cabinet, a hidden recess, and a deep pocket for your shoes. But, one of the articles we read said a larger laptop, like a 13-inch one, might not fit in the main compartment. Might have to get creative with storage there. As for the entertainment system, each suite has a large 24-inch 4K widescreen TV that's fixed to face the passenger. It's available for gate-to-gate entertainment, which is always a plus. And the in-flight entertainment system itself is an updated version of what they have on their A350s, and it now includes Bluetooth audio streaming.
Bluetooth is definitely a must these days. Seems like they're going above and beyond in a lot of areas. They're even upgrading the cameras on those 777s to high definition, both the forward and downward facing ones. So people can enjoy a really clear view during takeoff and landing.
Yeah, I think it's a really smart move, especially for those passengers who love watching those views. They've added a really handy feature to the IFE screen. It now shows the location and availability of the washrooms, which have also been redesigned and are much more spacious than before.
That's a great improvement, especially for those of us who hate having to wander up and down the aisle looking for an empty one.
Exactly. And there's more. They've added these smart seat presets for different activities like watching a movie, working, relaxing, or dining. They automatically adjust the seat and lighting to the optimal settings with one touch. And you can even customize them and save your preferences, so you can really personalize your experience.
Oh, I love that. Little details like that can make such a big difference on a long flight. And for anyone traveling solo who happens to be seated in the middle section, they've added a divider between the seats for some extra privacy.
Another great feature, especially if you're traveling alone and don't necessarily want to chat with your neighbor. They've also upgraded the tray table. It's deep and adjustable and has a special channel for holding your phone or tablet, and a touch-sensitive control panel for adjusting your seat and lighting. All really thoughtful improvements.
It does sound like Cathay Pacific has put a lot of thought into making these new area suites really special. And they are steadily refitting their Boeing 777s with these suites. So hopefully we'll see them on more routes soon. However, there's some not so good news for those of you who are looking forward to their new first-class suites.
Yes, unfortunately, the launch of their next generation Boeing 777-9 and their new first-class suites, which are rumored to be called the Halo suites, has been pushed back again. They were originally slated to start arriving this year, but due to some ongoing issues at Boeing with production and certification, the new expected delivery date is 2027 and beyond.
Oh, that's disappointing. especially for Cathay Pacific, who have 21 of these 777-9s on order. They were meant to replace their older 777-300 fleet and be the exclusive home with this new first-class product.
I know, it's a major setback for them. But it also means that their existing Boeing 777-300ER First Class, which, by the way, is still a fantastic product even though it was introduced back in 2007, will be sticking around for a bit longer. And their program to upgrade those 777-300ERs with the new Area Suite Business Class is now expected to run through late 2027.
So good news for those who are fans of Cathay's existing first class and for those who are looking forward to experiencing the new business class in those 777s. Do we know anything about what these Halo suites might look like when they finally do arrive?
Well, considering how much emphasis Cathay Pacific has put on privacy with the doors and the new Area Suites business class, it's highly likely that those new first-class suites on the 777-9s will also have doors, maybe even higher walls for even more privacy. Maybe something similar to what we're seeing with Emirates and Qantas's latest first-class offerings. It's believed that JPA Design, the firm that worked on the Area Suites, is also involved with the new first class.
So we can probably expect the same attention to detail and those luxurious touches that we've come to expect from Cathay Pacific. It'll be interesting to see what they come up with. And last but not least, we have Korean Air, who are going through a huge transformation at the moment, especially after their takeover of Asiana Airlines. They have a really ambitious goal of becoming a major global carrier, and they're making some big changes to achieve that.
Yeah, definitely. This is a really big deal. They're not just merging two airlines, they're rebranding the whole company. They've unveiled a new livery for their planes and a whole new corporate identity. They're keeping their signature sky blue color, but it's a bit darker now, more metallic. And the fuselage is mostly white with a really sleek, flowing curve along the side.
It's a big change from their previous livery.
Yeah.
It does feel a lot more modern and sophisticated.
Yeah.
What about their logo? Any changes there?
Yeah, the logo's gotten a refresh too. They've simplified the name from Korean Air to just Korean, and it's written in a bolder font that kind of looks like brush strokes. And their Tajik symbol on the tail, they've redesigned that as well, giving it a more modern, minimalist look with a single color and more organic lines. They're going to be rolling out this new branding across everything, from the planes and the cabins to their lounges and even their website.
It sounds like a pretty comprehensive rebrand. But they're not just stopping at the visuals, are they?
No, they're not. They're also introducing new first-class suites on their upcoming Airbus A350, Boeing 777, and Boeing 787 deliveries. Plus, they've got their Prestige Suites 2.0 business class and a brand new premium economy cabin in the works as well.
Wow, a lot of new products coming up.
Yeah.
But I'm also curious about their plans for the in-flight experience, especially the dining.
Well, they've partnered with chef Sik-young Kim of Sesta, a really well-regarded restaurant in Seoul, to create new fine dining-inspired meals for their premium classes. They're using seasonal ingredients, they've expanded the amuse-bouche and appetizer selections, and they've added new main course options like papillote and beautiful desserts like petit four.
It all sounds incredibly delicious. It's nice to see an airline paying attention to the food, especially in premium classes. What about economy class? Any changes there?
Oh yeah, they haven't forgotten about economy. They've introduced some new options like salmon bibimbap and spicy stir-fried octopus with pork. They've also added some global-inspired dishes like tofu pad thai and rosé pasta.
So a nice mix of Korean and international flavors. That's great to see.
Yeah.
And I heard they're also upgrading their tableware and amenities.
Absolutely, they're going all out. First-class passengers will now be dining with Bernardo china, Christoffel cutlery, and Riedel glassware. And Prestige class will feature Armanicasa dishware and glassware.
That's a pretty impressive lineup. It's a nice touch. It adds to that whole premium experience.
It really does. And in first class, they're upgrading the bedding to include premium materials from Fret, along with aircoil mattresses from EcoWorld, and they'll even get Fret loungewear. The amenity kits are also getting a makeover. They've partnered with the British luxury brand Graf to create new kits for their premium classes.
Wow, it sounds like they're really pulling out all the stops to elevate their premium offerings. So when can people start experiencing all these new changes?
So they're launching the new dining and service upgrades on March 12th on 10 of their main long-haul routes, including New York, Paris, and London. By June, all long-haul routes will feature the upgrades, followed by medium and short-haul routes in September. So if you're flying long-haul with Korean Air soon, you might be one of the first to try it out.
It sounds like there are a lot of exciting things happening in the airline industry right now. We've seen new business class suites designed for smaller, long-range aircraft, a focus on enhanced privacy and luxury in wide-body cabins, and a complete rebranding and service upgrade for an airline that's looking to make a big splash on the global scene.
It's fascinating to see how different airlines are approaching these changes. Air Canada is targeting new long-haul markets with their premium offering on the A321 XLR. Cathay Pacific, while facing some delays, is clearly committed to providing a top-notch luxury experience. And Korean Air is really stepping up their game with their comprehensive rebranding and service upgrades.
And for you, the listener, what does all this mean? Well, it means airlines are putting more and more emphasis on the premium travel experience, even on routes where you might not have expected it. And the competition for your business is heating up. Airlines are really upping the ante when it comes to comfortable and private suites, gourmet dining, and those little extra touches that make a difference. And the fact that Cathay Pacific's current first-class product, which is already very highly regarded, is going to be around for a bit longer, might be good news for those who appreciate a tried-and-true top-tier travel experience. Meanwhile, Korean Air's rebranding and all the service upgrades they're making really signal their ambition to become a major player on the world stage.
It's going to be really interesting to see how this all plays out over the next few years.
It definitely is. So, what are you most excited about? Is it the possibility of traveling long haul on a single aisle jet with lie flat seats? Or maybe it's those new business class suites with all that extra privacy? Or are you more intrigued by the idea of an airline completely reinventing itself? These are all big changes, and they're happening right now. The world of air travel is constantly evolving. We hope this deep dive has given you some insights into the latest trends and developments. And as always, we want to leave you with something to think about. How will these changes affect the way you choose to fly in the future?
Thanks for joining us. Until next time.
See you then.